That's right. It's a beautiful, beautiful fall day for some football, folks. Welcome in. Good morning. Listen, it's not wrong to be in a good mood on a Saturday when your team plays. Even if your team's struggling, it's okay to be excited about a college football Saturday, folks. It truly is. It's okay. It doesn't feel like it right now, but it's okay to be excited on any day when your favorite team plays. It's okay to be excited. I do understand that it's a little frustrating when the product isn't what you want. The results haven't been what we want. But it's important to realize, you guys, we wait around all year saying, just get me to fall for football season. Just get me to fall for football season. 2 weeks in and we were all ready to go. Just get me to the off season. It's wild, man. This college football ride is wild. It's just, I can't wait to get to the season. I can't wait to get to the season. All year, you're counting it down. 2 weeks in, and we were all going, man, when's the off season again so we can build this up, right? But my point is, you guys, it's a sunny, unseasonably warm day compared to what the weather's been in my area most of the week. It's been freezing cold in Chicago, and I would imagine South Bend as well. Now this warm front comes through. What a beautiful game day. Honestly, what a beautiful game day. It's just a darn shame the game isn't going to feel bigger. There's really nothing on the line except for how mad we're going to be trying to hold together recruiting classes. It should be a beautiful day in South Bend today. So welcome everybody for being here. I really appreciate. Listen, here's the deal. I realize Saturday's a weird day for people. Like my Monday, Wednesday, Friday crowd that's usually here, it's pretty set. Like that schedule works for a certain amount of people. And then I know pretty much the same guys are going to be in there every day. And then some people come and go. I get that Saturdays are weird. People have stuff to do, family obligations, kids' soccer tournament before the game or whatever. I appreciate everybody for being here. Saturdays are a throw-in. People get busy. You have obligations before the game. I get it. So Kent says, should we feel nervous today? The way we're playing, yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean, Kent? You know that. You just trying to get me mad at 9:03? When you're playing the way we're playing, of course I'm going to be nervous. It's just a bad spot to be, Kent. I'm not nervous of whether we're going to beat I'm not nervous in the way of we're playing you guys. We're playing Ohio State. I'm nervous. Can we beat this team? No. It's a worse kind of nervous. It's a nervous of what else bad's going to happen that's going to embarrass us today. Way to go, Kent. 3 minutes is all it took, Kent. Good job. 3 damn minutes, and Kent's got my stress levels going up. So here's the deal. Oh, I appreciate that. Somebody said my hairline's looking good today. I appreciate that. I combed it over for you just so it would look perfect, on point. Just the comb over. That's all it is. Cover up the bald spot in the middle. Comb it over. My grandpa used to do that my whole life. Here's the deal. Yeah, Kent, way to go. You just making sure I'm wide awake for the show. Getting me going. Are we nervous today? No, I'm not nervous at all. I feel great because Notre Dame's so reliable, Kent, that I know what I'm going to get. I'm expecting good play today. Coming in here trolling me at 9:03 on a Saturday freaking morning. Get a grip. Unbelievable, Kent. Unbelievable. Am I nervous? No. I feel fine because we're in such a good place. Get it. Come on with this stuff. Man, you guys, that's unbelievable. Hey, somebody donated money already. Let's go find it. Here's the deal. What I was saying is, I realize Saturdays are weird for a lot of people. If anybody wants to call, feel free. But a lot of my people that want to call are driving. They're at the game. There's no service at the game, whatever. So if you do want to call, 312-900-8815. Let me know what you're looking for today. Let me know what you think overall. I mean, this could be a grab bag, talk about anything. So if anybody wants to call, fine. If this episode turns into more of a chat for a little bit, that's fine too. I got a couple topics I want to go over as well. So we're not doing this blind. I got a couple things I do really want to go over and hit. Kind of big picture and something smaller picture too. And it's right in the wheelhouse of what's in the chats and what you guys are talking about. So let's get the introduction out of the way. We'll get into some of these chats, roll call, get into a couple of the topics I wanted to go over, and we'll go from there. See how long we go today. All right? YouTube. Obviously, you're already there. If you're in the chat, hit a thumbs up. Why not? You're already there. Take your coffee, take a sip, move your thumbs up. It helps me a lot. Notifications on that way you be alerted every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. You can get me except for the call-in shows. They're too long. They're too long, and I'm too cheap to pay what it costs these free sites to dub my videos over into MP3. Too cheap to pay it. So if it's over like an hour, they won't do it for free. Sorry. I'm going to have to look at my face for these longer shows, unfortunately. I know that's rough for a lot of people. I don't blame you. USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. Tune in. They do a good job, okay? Not just the stuff I write, but everybody else. Check them out. So, that being said, let's get into this a little bit. Let's go through some of the chats, see what people are thinking. Kent, you're always here and you're always early. I appreciate it. Every day when I come in here and I go to set up the show, get in and make sure everything looks all right, like an hour early, Kent's already got a comment up, something. Sometimes it's legitimate and he plays it straight, and other times I can tell he's trying to get me worked up. You want to win, let Tommy be the man. See, there he goes, 8:46. This was before the show. The guy's trying to get me worked up. Drunk Vigo, always in here. Good to see you. Wow, this channel's been growing lately, John. I appreciate that. Thank you for noticing, and thanks for being a part of it. Nick Dean, good to see you here. He's a regular. Jay's such a nice guy, too. Jay Lehman, nice guy. See him on Twitter all the time. Always makes me think. It's good to see you, Jay. Good morning. Machine 4456, Pepto at the ready. It's game day. You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. I mean, it's rough out here, folks. It is rough out here. You got to do what you got to do. Put down that Guinness, chug that Pepto, give yourself a coating in the morning. That's what you need to do. You need to drink that Pepto to get that coating in your stomach and your esophagus. Get it all coated up with that red stuff, that pink stuff. And then whatever happens with Notre Dame, it won't throw you off all day. It'll rattle around inside. Keep it in there at least. Oh, Kent says bounce back or bounce out. Who are we bouncing out? That's the question of the week. Who are you bouncing out? I got news for people. This crusade of people convinced Freeman's done. He's gone after this year and all that. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. The only way Freeman's not here after this year is if it's an off-the-field issue. He's on the straight and narrow with that. I don't see that coming into play. So I don't know if that's just a frustration of people saying Freeman's never going to figure it out. I've seen enough. Get this guy out of here. I don't know if it's just frustration or what. People need to realize in reality, barring an off-the-field issue, there's 0% chance after this year they go, Marcus, you're not going to figure it out. You're out of here. 0. So you can not like that. You can like that. It doesn't matter. That's the fact. You don't hire a guy to a 6-year deal. Year 1 doesn't go great. You go, just kidding. We made a mistake. Luke Fickell, come on down. Like, you can't do that. Barring a off-the-field issue, you can't work around. You just can't do it. It's a bad look. So that's out. So if you want to talk about Tommy and wanting him to go to the NFL and be a quarterback's coach, we could have that discussion all damn day. if you want. That's a lot more realistic for a change at the end of the year than anything with Marcus. It's not going to happen, and I'm very annoyed seeing it already. I'm annoyed. I see it on Twitter everywhere. It's not realistic. You want to be mad about stuff, be mad about stuff. I'm mad about stuff. But get Freeman out of here. That ain't happening, and it's not the solution right now. That's so unrealistic. If you want to just say I'm mad, and that is the easiest low-hanging fruit thing to get my anger across on social media, fine. But no, what you're asking for isn't realistic, and it ain't going to happen. It's just not. Chris Unearthed says, we'll listen on the radio today, much less frustrating. Listen, I'm not blaming any Notre Dame fan that isn't ponying up for Peacock. Like, if you don't already have it in your TV system or whatever, I'm not blaming you for that. I know a lot of people that are like, John, today's a day, good weather. I'm just going to put it on the radio, old school. I probably don't want to see it anyways. Like, I have people I know that are looking at it that way today. And they're like, I don't need to see this. I'll put it on the patio and drink a beer and listen to it, and that'll be enough. Like, fine. But I already went over with you guys how over NBC and Notre Dame I am. I'm done with them. I'm done. It's all rubbing me the wrong way. Listen, I know we have problems on the field with the product right now. Trust me, we all do. I don't like this NBC thing. It feels second rate to me. It feels like Notre Dame's an afterthought. It feels like they're all worried about the NFL, and it's like at the last minute, oh, yeah, we have that Notre Dame deal too. Who can we put in that booth real quick? I don't like the feel of it. I don't like the vibe of it. It feels like Notre Dame's an afterthought. There's no gravitas in the booth. It doesn't feel big when there's a Notre Dame game. Like I said it before, at least Tirico had the big voice. You knew something big was going on. Now you relegate us to a streaming service that nobody wants, nobody uses. Small time. I'm sorry, you guys. It sounds weird to say NBC Notre Dame small time. That's what it is. That's what it is right now. Small time. Notre Dame's not a priority. This is small potatoes. No gravitas in the booth. Nothing happening. I don't like it. Okay. If you want, I said it before. If you want to offer streaming as an option so somebody could be fishing and have the game up and watch it in their boat or something, fine. But you don't make people do it. This is Notre Dame. To make people go over to a streaming product to watch it, it's just wrong. It's wrong. It feels small, and I hope Notre Dame finds another TV partner. I don't like it. Mikey Poles, good to see you here. That's right. Dude, it's funny now. I'll go to these tailgates and stuff. Last week, I'm in the tailgate, and there's just a bunch of people around. And then out of nowhere, I just hear from behind me, that's right. And I just know it's somebody who recognizes me. You would be surprised how many people like that. That's right. You would. Whenever I see people like at Notre Dame, they're like, how'd you come up with that? That was funny. I didn't come up with it. It just came out one day. And then people laughed and liked it. And then I kept doing it. Like, that's the kind of stuff in radio or doing this. You don't plan. It just takes off. It's just me being an idiot and me making weird noises. And that was a fun one. That's all. God, I hate this Peacock. I just do. And then here's the other thing with this game, you guys. We're all mad about us and like what we're doing wrong and like what Notre Dame needs to do better. And it's UNLV. That doesn't excite anyone in any way. Like the opponent provides no juice, whatever. And then in the middle of all that, like, does everybody even realize their quarterback's out, their top receivers out, UNLV? Like, if you can't find a way to try and get more right today, I can't help you. Everything's there for you to be able to try and like look a little better today and put some of the heat down. You just need to do it. Like, you need to see it. This fan base is in shambles. It's dark. People are sad. People are mad. I'm surprised the amount of people that are marking Freeman out right now forever. It surprises me. And I said it before. I don't know if that is just anger talking and they don't mean it, but it's anger in the moment of the situation we're in. Or if these people are serious. I've seen enough for Freeman. He's never going to figure it out. Like, I think that's too early for you to know that and be solidly on that side of the ledger. It's just wild to me that people are already done with him. And it's like, then what? Then what? Hire Fickle? Like, fine. I mean, whatever. You're going to end up with Brian Kelly part 2 then, but with a nicer personality is what Fickle is. That's what it is, you guys. That's what Luke Fickle is to me. Rock solid, stable. You know what you're going to get, but like not the most dynamic personality. That's what it would have been. And I was ready for something different. Sorry. I'm so offended. 199, a picture of Tommy there. Show me something different, Tommy. You have to. You have to. You have to this time. V1 rotate. Good to see you, man. Hey, anybody who compliments my hairline goes to the top of the list because the days you could actually do that are limited. And the more Notre Dame plays, they get more limited, by the way. Oh, Kent. How do you end up with the handle of Notre Dame? Like, how do you, this guy just has a handle called Notre Dame. Like, that's funny to me. Shouldn't it be Notre Dame has the handle Notre Dame? I'm scared for us today. The energy seems weird. Notre Dame, if you are the actual university talking to me, I agree with you. The vibe does feel weird. It just does. I've been around Notre Dame home games my entire life. I know every vibe there is. From games mattering, everything on the line, good weather, bad weather, time of year, energy, what the other crowd brings, all of it. I've been around the block. Going to be a weird wine and cheese type quiet day today, muted. I expect the fancy seats with the seat backs to be half empty. Like, it is going to be a weird vibe. It is. And the team has brought that on themselves by how they play. Now there's no excitement. You're not playing for anything this year. That's ruined. The home crowd's going to be waiting for something bad to happen. I don't want it to be that way, but it's reality. It's how humans react to this kind of stuff. It's going to be a weird vibe in there. And I'm hoping somebody calls me from campus this morning and let me know what that feel is, okay? So I'm so offended. I appreciate that. Somebody, let's see. Travis, Mike Sloan, Jay, throw it to Kent. I ain't kidding about that Pepto. That's my best friend, bro. I chug that in the car when I get off the toll road before I get to campus, just to make sure. Fire Tommy Reese, Al Washington. The format. Check out my interview with Pete Sampson. Yeah, Bruce did have a good interview with Pete Sampson. Check it out. But after this, don't leave here and go check it out now. Hurting my numbers, but go over there after. Help us both out. Tommy for AD. Hey, it gets him away from the offense, doesn't it? Tommy for AD. It gets him out of the offense. So maybe that's the angle. Keep him in the fold as a Notre Dame guy, but keep him away from the offense. I like that angle. Jonah, good to see you here. Not saying a QB change is the answer or anything this season, but at this point, I don't see the downside of giving Angeli some drives today. At least he has some potential upside. It's an issue. And that's why you were hoping you were going to be able to beat up on Stanford or something so you could get Angeli some time. Now he's in a position like Pine was. He's one play away from being the starter. You would like to be able to get him snaps. We're never ahead enough that you could put anybody else in, and we're already on the backup quarterback. Then what do you create if Pine's playing bad and then you take him out and put Angeli in? Then you have another wrinkle in the problem that's already a problem, and you're adding a wrinkle to the problem that's a problem and a wrinkle already. Right? Like, there's no easy way to do it. Okay. So we're going to do a super chat or two. Then we got a phone call. 812, you're up. 202 called but dropped off. If you come back, I'll put you right up. I appreciate this. $5 holler. He's so offended. Some people go to confession to pay for their sins. I watch Notre Dame football. The problem with that is you watch Notre Dame football, it makes you want to commit 5 more sins. And then you got to go right back to confession. Oh, I appreciate that. 812, we're coming to you in 1 minute. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody who donated. Burt Reynolds, good to see you rise from the grave and get in here. Ryan Splenda, good to see you. Sean Hunter, I hate the booth also. Listen, it's not like I hate the booth. It has no gravitas at all. Like, even if you think Garrett's a nice guy, you could break down film or whatever. There is no balls in this booth. There ain't. Tirico had it. Dan Hicks even had it. Like, there ain't no gravitas in this booth. It sounds small-timey. It looks like a small-time production. When they speak, it comes off like this isn't a big deal what's happening here today. I'm offended by that. So if that's your home network, give me some balls. Give me some gravitas. Give it to me. It's your job as Notre Dame's TV partner to make sure people feel like something big's happening. Sorry. It's just the way I feel. 812 coming to you. Make sure I didn't miss anything. That's the other problem, you guys. I like to live stream. I like to live tweet the games. That is so much fun. The collective experience of live tweeting. Great play, bad play, we're terrible, we're good, all of that, whatever. It's ruined today. That's all out. There's a 3.5 to 4 minute delay of what's happening in Notre Dame Stadium. And when you see it on your Peacock app, I hate it. All the people at the game tweet what happens. And if you're scrolling through, you see it and you go, that hasn't happened yet. 2 minutes later, it happens. So congratulations, Notre Dame and NBC. You ruined the game for everybody. Good job. Good job. So what did you say? Marshawn Lynch used to drink before games? Yeah, and if you're going to play the way he played, maybe you should drink some more. Yeah, true. Kent, my brother, Andrew Kennedy, has a good point, Kent. You got to call in one of these days, Kent. Break down Marcus Freeman's head coaching from an outside perspective. Last time you called, I think it was Ohio State stuff. Ooh, $20 holler from ND Gal, and I think she was the one on the phone that dropped off too. Notre Dame football has me broken. 27 years old, coasting via glitz, glamour, and hagiography. That is fancy. Can't anymore. Be well, be great. You're not gone forever. You're not gone forever. You've lived through worse. You've seen worse. And if you're 27 years old, ND Gal, most of what you've seen has been Brian Kelly that you can remember if you're only 27. There's a lot more to Notre Dame football than the Kelly era, and it's just hard to see that right now. I get it. It's tough, but I really do appreciate the donation. I just wish you weren't so sad. All right, 812, we're going to you. Good morning.
Hey, John.
What's going on?
Man, I'm just frustrated.
Yeah,
I'm so tired of seeing Tommy Rees blow our games.
So do you think that that's what it comes down to, and it's as simple as that? Are you in a position where you say the offense hasn't been good enough the last handful of years, even when we've been good overall? The defense has carried us. And when Kelly left, that problem didn't leave. The one lasting trend line's Tommy Rees. We need new eyes on the offense. Let him go to the NFL, try that, and then we part ways. Is that where you're at?
That's totally where I'm at. He was our quarterback coach for, 2 years before he was the offensive coordinator? And Ian Book made him look great. I'm not saying Ian Book was great, but his improvising made him look great. I'm so tired of hearing about how great Tommy Rees is. I think Marcus Freeman needs to fire his ass.
Now, do you think that it's realistic? I don't think under any scenario you're going to see that in the season. I would be shocked if you did. I think it would be much more likely there's an amicable public breakup. Tommy says he has NFL aspirations, no hard feelings. Thank you for your Notre Dame service type of deal. And then he goes and he's an NFL quarterback coach. You could frame that as a somewhat promotion to the big leagues. That is what I see as the most likely scenario. I don't see anything in season or anything with any drama because I just think Notre Dame wants to avoid that.
I think if we score 14 today and lose, I think if I'm Marcus Freeman, I don't even wait a minute after the game. I tell Mr. Reese, thank you, you suck, goodbye.
Thank you, you suck. I have three things to say to you in this meeting. Thank you, you suck, and the door is right there, my friend.
Exactly.
All right. Can I ask you a question? Now
Sure.
I know your answer to this is going to be, and it's my answer too, that Tommy's a part of the problem I'm going to bring up to you. But here's my question. What if we had Drake May as the quarterback right now? Like, ignore our quarterback room, the fact that Reese is responsible for what it looks like now, largely too. But everything's the same as it is now, but you drop Drake May into this offense. How much better are we, or are we still not happy with what we see? Like, how big of a difference does that one guy make?
I don't think if we had Trevor Lawrence, our offense would look any better than it does right now, because Tommy Reese doesn't know how to use his players. He's got a three-headed monster in the backfield, and he runs a wide receiver jet sweep on 4th and 2. Are you kidding me? Tommy Reese is the problem.
All right. Now, let me ask this, and this is something that was on my notes to mention today, whether somebody brought it up or it was just me talking. Do you think it's possible that Freeman feels the same way you do? What are the odds that Freeman sees all this, looks at it, sees what we see, and now he's super frustrated because there's not much he could do in season, he feels like. What if that's going on? Marcus was like, we're going to give this a try. I want the Notre Dame bloodline to continue here. Year one, that'll help me having a Notre Dame guy around that the players love. And it made sense logically then to keep Tommy. But what if he sees what we see now, but he's just trapped till the end of the year? Like, he looks super frustrated, Marcus. He might see what you see, man, but he feels like he can't move on it and has to protect his guys till the end of the year. What do you say to that scenario?
I would tell him he can no longer be nice. He's the head man. His job is on the line with the athletic director. Tommy needs to know his job is on the line with him.
Yeah.
I would seriously just make a line in the sand and say, we're going to score 30 points. We're going to run the football first. And then we're going to use the pass to free up the run more, or you're done, bud.
Yeah. And
that's what I would do.
Yeah. Man, it's so tough being in this spot. Like, I get it. People, I don't know how to separate out how much of this to put on Freeman and Reese with like the quarterback thing right away, not taking a transfer. What do you make of that? Running Buckner out there, like, was that the right move to start the year even?
They should have used Buckner a lot more last year.
Yeah, I thought so too.
All they did was run with it. Why didn't they have him out there when we were winning by a bunch or a little or whatever, and have him get used to throwing the football around?
Yeah.
And develop him. Why didn't they do that?
Yeah, and here was my argument with that. You bring up a good point. This was what I said about that last year. I said, all right, if you're going with the transfer guy that has one more year and he's in and out, fine, but you need to be in win it all mode right now, because that means there is no development. There is none of that stuff. It's you got to do something with the guy now, or this does nothing else for you in the future. And then I said the downside to doing that is if you make the playoff and win a playoff game, great, it worked. But if you don't, that means that you're giving up a full year of development of Buckner. And then that's basically what happened. Gave up that year. Now it's another year. And his career's been super frustrating. It's all a mess. Everything with this issue's a mess. All of it.
Mm-hmm. I just don't understand why we didn't why we didn't develop him more last year. I mean, he didn't redshirt.
Right.
So,
yeah. And then when he was out there, they didn't really let him do anything. Everybody knew he was just going to pull it and run, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
doing RPO. Okay, we see that coming.
Yeah. And here's what I feel. I'm sure you're going to agree based off our discussion. I am convinced Notre Dame has no chance of doing anything any of us want them to do until they firmly establish a competent quarterback room with a pipeline, with their own guys they're recruiting and developing the right way. Like, you need that. Like, the transfer stuff's a little Band-Aid for Notre Dame, but eventually you're going to have to create your own guy, and you're going to have to develop them the right way, like a real program, and make it work. That has to happen. Don't you agree?
I totally agree, and I do not think Tommy Rees can develop anything.
Yeah.
He might be able to develop a Polaroid picture. Might be. I don't know.
But you know what, man? What is the argument for Tommy Rees? It isn't numbers. None of the offenses have been like close to elite. Like, it isn't numbers. This year, you're 130th out of 131 in offensive production in the first quarter. You're almost dead last in the country. That is the ultimate indictment on execution, yes, but also the plan to start every game when you can't make it work in any game. That is a bad indictment. That is rough evidence to overcome.
What happened to, okay, we have 15 scripted plays that we run every day in practice, and then that's our first 15 plays in the game.
Yeah, those were the 15 David Shaw prepared perfectly for, and then we ran him right into his defense the way he wanted. Like, that's what happened with our scripted plays. We apparently set him up right what the defense wants to do. Apparently, that's how we start.
I don't understand. You know, when I played football in high school, we had 15 plays that we ran every single day in practice. And those were our bread and butter, get you a first down plays. Does Tommy not understand that? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's in the other. Listen, man, sometimes it doesn't have to be some big drama thing. What if you just are at a point where it's just better for everybody to try something else? Like, this was kind of an arranged marriage. Not really. Freeman, it has been asked by people with way more access than me. 202, I'm coming to you next. Hang in there. I want to talk to you. You're down. We need to have a conversation, ND gal. Hang in there, 202. It's all just so frustrating, man. And I just don't know. The evidence is bad, and it just might be time for everybody to try something else. We need fresh eyes on the offense. Get Tommy out of the shadow of the dome. Might be good for his own career. Like, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what needs to happen. It happens every day in this business. I don't think that'd be the biggest deal. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. My wife wants to say something. Here you go.
Hi, John. This is Nick's wife, Chris.
Good morning, Chris.
My theory is...
Yeah, let's hear it, Chris. Let it rip. What do you got?
Marcus Freeman is way too nice of a guy, and he's got a lot of loyalty to his people. And I think maybe at the end of this season, the way it's going, his rose-colored glasses are going to get shattered when he realizes no matter what a recruiting god he is, no one's going to come there the way they're playing. And that may be what he needs to toughen him up and make him a little hard-ass enough to ditch Rees.
Yeah. Chris, you bring up a really good point. I appreciate you listening and chiming in. The bottom line is this is going to be Freeman's reputation and coaching career on the line and the reputation of this program. And Marcus Freeman needs to have what's going to make that go well, trump any friendships, any professional loyalty, I do not care if Notre Dame's offensive coordinator went here or not. Whoever it is, score points. I don't care if he was recruited by Kelly 20 years ago. I don't care. Just give me somebody that scores points.
Exactly.
Chris, I appreciate the call. It's a good Saturday morning. Nice weather. We're going to enjoy a good ball game. It will win today, right? We got to win today, right?
I hope so.
I'm telling you,
I hope
man.
Tommy doesn't lay another egg.
You can't. Not this week. You just can't do it. It's frustrating, man. I think Tommy's a nice guy. I just think it might be time for us all to try something different. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. What do you think's going to happen today? What you think Notre Dame covers the spread? It's like 26, 27 points. I'm not even sure Notre Dame can score that many in a week.
Yeah, that spread's ridiculous. And every single time we've had a big spread like that, we've laid an egg.
Yep.
So I'm going to say Notre Dame wins by 3.
3. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? Like, oh, I can't. You just made my blood pressure shoot up so much saying that. Can you imagine how mad people would be? Oh,
A win's a win this year. A win's a win.
yeah, has to be, I guess. Yeah, I mean, who are we to expect anything else, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's fair. But all right, you guys enjoy the game. It was good talking to you. Tell the wife I appreciated her input. You guys have some coffee, enjoy the day, or maybe switch to Guinness early. I'm not sure.
All right, John. You have a good day too, bud.
Thanks for the call, man. Enjoy the weekend. A lot of good football to be played, whether it's us or not. Have a good one.
All right.
See ya. Man, I'm telling you, people are down. All right. ND gal, you're down. Tell me you're not down and out. You're just down, not down and out.
Hi, Don. I'm not down. I'm done. And I never joke about Notre Dame football, so I truly mean it. My super chat was a clue. 1994 is a clue about me.
I thought that was a weird number. I was wondering how we came to that. It did cross my mind.
I could hear the Miami game in 1988 from my front yard. I was in high school. I met the entire team for 2 years because I worked at Video Warehouse, which is sort of a famous establishment in South Bend. I'm a bender. I'm a St. Joe girl and I'm a bender. And I'm done. When I'm done, I'm done. So I can say a lot. I'll go flambe, but I'll dial it back if you want me to.
I don't want you to dial it back. Have I ever been the guy that's telling people to dial it back? Let it rip. This is what it's for. Let it rip. That's what this outlet's for. Let it go.
All right. Tommy cannot be fired by Marcus Freeman. Tommy is protected from on high by the Prince of Darkness. And I don't know who that is, but he or she exists. Tommy is unfireable.
But is that Swarbrick? Like, who could that be if it's not Jack?
I don't know.
Like, I don't get who it could be. And Kelly's out of here, who liked Reese, so he should be out of the picture. If it isn't Jack, I don't get who's pulling those strings on Marcus.
Somebody is. And let's go back to when Tommy got this job. I used to frequent a website that is derided by many fans. We all lost our minds because we knew exactly what was going on. Tommy was not qualified to be the OC of Notre Dame. Kelly hired him because Kelly was already making moves to leave, and he knew he could take Tommy with him. That is what that was. All right, so now fast forward. Brian's leaving. He had to have told LSU, I'm bringing Marcus, I'm bringing Tommy. Tommy belongs to me. Tommy is my creature. Here's when it gets fun. Remember when Tommy was filmed in the main auditorium of the Goog saying, I'm fucking staying.
Yeah.
This is where my heart is.
Yeah.
The next day, or within a week, he went on a podcast, a national podcast, like an ESPN guy. I think it might have been Eisen. And he said he was mad. No one was talking to him. Brian's gone. There's no head coach. Warbrick's not calling Tommy. Tommy was gonna leave. He had decided to leave, and he tells his dad, I'm leaving. I'm going with Kelly. And his dad, thanks so much, Mr. Reese. His dad says, no, just wait. So when he acts like he was going to stay all along and his loyalty is in Notre Dame, that is a freaking lie. People talking about what a nice guy Tommy is, I ain't so sure. I'm also up to here with the Golics taking after anybody on Twitter who criticizes Tommy. Why don't you just shut up? I don't care if he's your friend and you used to drink together.
You know what? I'm telling you, there's a lot of that. Everybody from that age range and that class in the media is coming to his defense. And it's a rough look because we all get it. That's your friend and teammate. They need to get where we're coming from, that the results are bad. Like, they're doing a bad job of understanding how that comes off, because it isn't just the Golics. There's a lot more doing that, but I've seen way too much of that lately. I agree with you.
So this is part of the problem with Notre Dame, and this is why I'm done. I've been watching this for 25 years. Bad hires, one bad hire, bringing down the whole team, and it's 25 years of almost.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator, Bear, remember him?
Yeah.
That's terrible. Brian Polian, peach of a guy, great recruiter, absolutely atrocious coach, bringing us down. Zip Long wasn't great, cost us a really nice wide receiver, Michael Young, because he was both stupid and a jerk. And now here's the thing that really worries me. I have heard that a player's family, a player we all talk about a lot, told someone they truly believe. Oh, so before I get to that, and let's remember, Jack hired Tommy. Marcus did not hire Tommy. Marcus has no power in this situation. That's why I say Tommy is protected from on high by the Prince of Darkness. Okay. There's this player's family is saying that they really believe that Marcus, who is African-American, was deliberately set up to fail. I do not believe that. But we have people walking around saying that.
Man, that is so dark. But like, why? Who does that benefit to go down that path? That doesn't help anybody.
Well, it just sets up a really horrible conversation. I do think Marcus's hands are tied. To me, the biggest evidence of that, and I did not watch the Stanford post game. I think I started watching Tequila Sunrise, which is the movie that I watch when I need to be cheered up. Marcus walks into the post game and says, "Our defense needed to play better." That's your assessment because Tommy is so Teflon coated. Are you kidding me? He is absolutely hogtied in the situation, and I can't watch it. I cannot watch this wonderful guy be getting the slings and arrows because of this 12-year-old who's calling plays.
And it's like, this is my name. I got the head job. It's my reputation and all that. He doesn't have an obligation to go down with the favorite son prince of the previous regime. Like, he shouldn't have an obligation to that. If you wanted to do, you're telling me, though, you're making me nervous because the way you're speaking, it seems to me, what if we get to the end of the year and the offense still sucks? The quarterback room's still a problem, which it's going to be. That's not going to change in another month or two. You're telling me Freeman can't go to Swarbrick at the end of the year and go, look at the evidence. The offense sucks. We need to do something else. I'm making this decision. You hired me to be the head coach. You're telling me if he doesn't have the power to do that, why are we bothering to do any of this? Why?
It's a waste of Marcus. It's a waste of some really lovely, great players. It's a waste of our time. And it's just more of this machine. It's like Notre Dame football is a machine. And it just runs on air and starlight and really good photography and video. And this mediocrity, this absolutely infuriating mediocrity is allowed to fester, to grow, and to obliterate anything good in the program. And look, we are so losing the NBC contract. Like, just, it's over. Done. They are not going to pay for this level of dreck. It's not going to happen. We're going to lose our contract. We're going to have to join the Big Ten. It's over. Because the product on the field wasn't there, despite all the hype in the preseason and the Wonderkin mystique that Tommy aggrandized in the last 5 years, which I'll never understand. But the reason I'm done is that this whole process is truly done now. We're out of air. We're like Wile E. Coyote when he runs off the cliff, doesn't realize he's not on land anymore. And as soon as he looks down, he falls. That's where we are. The money's not going to be here for us.
Are you open at all to giving it this off season and seeing what changes are made? And then that will answer some of your questions of who's allowed to make what decisions. Like, would that free your mind up a little bit? Like at the end of the year, if big time decisions were made, would that make you think maybe there's an angle here?
We lost to Marshall and to the worst Stanford team in 25 years at home in the same season. It's already over.
I'm telling you,
now,
man, you're painting a dark picture. These people in the chat are like, man, she seems to have the info and it's not good.
I am over it. I am completely over it. I don't need to take a melatonin. I'm over it, Mr. I'm so offended. I handle, by the way.
I mean,
look,
like
when you're done, you're done. When it, it takes what it takes. I can't watch what's happening to Tobias Merriweather and to many other, Logan Diggs and certainly Audric. Just, so many great kids that we do bring in based a lot on the Hollywoodness of it all.
Yeah.
And it's just such a waste. And for someone who was in the stands for the whole Sears, I can't watch this. It's an abomination. So everyone, enjoy what you enjoy. Go with God. Don, I think you're really talented. I'm glad that you've devoted your energies to what you're doing. I think you're really good at it. But I'm just out. And now I've said all of the deep dark theories that I've been holding for, quite a long time. Thanks for being a pal. Thanks for listening. I'm not done with Notre Dame. I am all about the hockey team and the soccer teams and the women's basketball team and the men's basketball. I'm all about that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not done with Notre Dame. I'm just done with Notre Dame football.
Will you come back? What if it's 3 years from now? We got a new OC. Marcus recruits his ass off, and then it looks different. You come on back. Come on back.
Well, thanks for the invitation. Probably not, but thanks.
Oh, man, this hurts me. I didn't want this to happen to you.
I didn't either, dude. I thought this was finally it, though I did have severe reservations about Tommy from day one.
Man, this is rough. I'm telling you, you got the whole chat log shook. I mean, people are like, man, this is dark. So are you going to watch on the Peacock today? Don't lie. Are you going to watch on the Peacock or not?
I'm not watching Notre Dame football. I've discontinued. I don't follow any more Notre Dame football accounts of any kind. It's over.
Wow. Wow.
It's over. Yeah. I've cut myself off.
Hey,
is crushing it. 5 shutouts in a row.
Listen,
number 5 in the country. Loving it.
I got the grandfatherly figure that calls me. That we call him Dr. John. He always gives me a prescription. We might have to have him connect with you. See if he could prescribe you something.
I don't need drugs and I don't need weed. Thanks so much.
I just need good football. I don't need any chemicals. Just give me good football. How about a real offense? It'll do me better than any chemical drug.
I lived through Ty. I lived through post-USC Charlie. I lived through Baby. My magnanimity is at its end. My fealty is at its end. I'm not only an alum, I'm a legacy. Yeah. But when you're done, you're done.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And you went through a time frame of winning in your life too. It'd be hard to come back from and accept anything else other than. And I see a lot of people struggling with that over the last, 30 years for us. But I'm sorry you're at this point. I really am.
It's okay. And in closing, I'll say this. It's not, you have to win every game. It's a commitment to excellence, and you really mean it. It's leaving it out all on the field. It's what we did against Clemson in 2020. That's what I want.
Yeah.
What we saw last Saturday in the Marshall game was embarrassing.
Yep.
So I'll sign off, and I hope you hope you and your followers enjoy the rest of the season, and we'll see.
Well, thank you for the call. Thank you for the chat and the donation. I just hope you're not gone forever. I'll leave the door open. Okay, I will.
All right, bye-bye, John.
Bye. Have a good one. Most memorable call yet on the show, people are saying. So congratulations. I'm telling you guys, that got dark. That got really dark. And the other thing is, here, I don't know how to say this. Here's how I'm going to say this. You guys can't see what I can see on the caller screen. This is somebody connected. That's all I'm going to say. Like, some people are saying she seems like she knows stuff. You don't see what I see on the screen. This is somebody connected. And I know that from the call-in screen. So I will say that. That's not just a random person. That's somebody with the Notre Dame name. That's all I'm going to say. 10-second break. Clear the sinuses. 707-276-951-760. You're coming up. This was wild. That was a wild call. It really was. But I'm telling you guys, that isn't a random. Trust me when I tell you I know from that caller screen, that's somebody who knows more than you think. Man. Woo. Man, that got interesting. Jeez. 707. Let's go.
Hey, John.
Good.
Hey, this is Joe Long. I left you that post in the room saying I didn't really call to talk because I talked to you yesterday, and I pretty much talked my philosophy on, how we have Marcus Freeman should be, restricted somewhat on his duties outside of football because he's just now getting his feet wet as a head coach, and they should cut back on his duties outside of football, fundraising and showing up here and there. Just let him go out on the road and recruit, and let him, even now during the season, he can't do that, obviously, unless he's in the city that, can recruit that way for a game. But, I don't really have much other to say. I'm kind of stuck because my laptop, I can't carry it around because it doesn't have battery life. So I call in to hear your show because and this last caller, this girl, I feel sorry for her. I mean, I don't think she should give up the ship, but
Yeah,
I mean, if you're a Notre Dame legacy and fan and all this, like me, I've seen too much success from Notre Dame to just throw in the towel. They'll be back.
Yeah, it's hard. And I know, man, I know her ties just because I can see it on my screen, and I get where she's coming from. Notre Dame family, Notre Dame legacy, seen a lot of winning, grew up in a time where winning was just what happened and just over it. I just think I'm not done with Marcus. We're 6 games into 6 years. I cannot give up on that yet. I just can't. I can't.
It's a very tough year, and these things happen. It's like maybe they don't with those programs that have been paying students for years to go there, but this is Notre Dame, and this is how you have to grin and bear it with what they do as far as, not letting junior college transfers. And, these teams get very good when they get good quarterbacks, good players, but there's just so much wrong with this year that you just have to hope that Freeman has the ability to get rid of Reeves and not Swarbrick, and make Swarbrick understand that this is his team now. He's got to sit back and let the kid you hired, learn the job.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know anything yet. Like Reeves has been here for too long, and we know what his ceiling is. He doesn't even have a ceiling. It's like it's below the Mendoza line. His abilities are not there.
Yeah. I think we might have actually had this conversation the other day. It has been asked to people with a lot more access than me if Reese was forced on Freeman. And everybody who has that information says, no, Freeman was comfortable with him staying, liking that Notre Dame consistency line, keeping that common thread. And I was told he wasn't forced on him. Like, you have to keep Tommy here. I don't take from that what you will, but whenever that's been asked, I've been told it wasn't forced, which if that's the case, then it isn't going to be forced on him to keep him if he doesn't want to after this year either.
Well, the thing is, if they were able to bring in Al Golden and the wide receiver coach and the running backs coach, I mean, why couldn't they have brought in a new offensive coordinator too? So I don't know necessarily, unless it was something Swarbrick and Reese said, or Swarbrick and Freeman said, he's got something there that they have to live up to some kind of obligation. I don't know. I mean, that's where this girl that just called, I would understand her point totally, because you can't get a good product on the field with Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator. You just can't. He stinks. So that's where that girl, I feel her. I think the whole room probably.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the chat.
No, the whole, everybody, man, it's weird. Everybody in that chat was like kind of taken back, like, whoa, this is cutting deeper than we expected on a Saturday morning. Like, it had everybody kind of frozen, like, whoa.
Well, she expressed the frustration that all of us Notre Dame fans in that chat are feeling.
Yeah. Now here's where I will get where she's at. If we get to the end of this year and Freeman gets up there and goes, Tommy Rees is awesome and this is all going to look better next year, that is where I think I'm going to be. That is going to be the point. That is the point where a lot of people are going to go, all right, Freeman's a fall guy. Either he's a fall guy or he's not seeing the light, and then this is going to be really rough. Like, that's what everybody's banking on now, is that at the end of the year, that guy's gone, and then there's some light.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing she said about that contract with NBC, I'm hoping that NBC drops Notre Dame, because that'll finally wake up Notre Dame to say, we're just not worthy of a contract with anybody. We better do what we needed, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm done with the
extensions, because even the product in the booth, these guys suck. They've been terrible since I can remember. Like, when they first started, I remember Bill Walsh was an analyst, and they had Dick Enberg doing the color. Or not the color, the play-by-play. Bill Walsh was the analyst of the color. And that was fun. Like, Bill Walsh was a Stanford guy, and he was a football guy.
Yeah.
And he was a genius. And so it was fun to hear him talk about Notre Dame.
Yeah. Man, I wanted Tommy to succeed. Everybody did. He's a Notre Dame guy. We all want that guy to do well. When does the evidence stack up? And when does the evidence stack up enough that it just doesn't matter? And the evidence is the evidence, and everybody sees it. And the numbers are the numbers. You're almost the worst team in football at scoring in the first quarter. That's a problem. Like, let's go.
Yeah. 99% of Notre Dame base fan nation, whatever, they all see the problem. So, it's got to be the ability of Freeman to let him go. And it should be this year, because who cares what this year is going to bring if they let him go? I think any assistant coach on offense would be a better chance to install new energy and new blood calling the plays than Rees. We all want him gone, and it's hurting the team and the brand,
Yeah, do you think, here's what I struggle with. Do you think Freeman knows and sees all this too, but he feels like he's trapped in the moment with no easy fix for now? A part of me feels like he sees it, but he's trapped. And when you see Marcus so visually frustrated, that's a part of it. Like, I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder, but he's trapped.
So raw.
But he's trapped, dude.
So raw in the position, you know? There's
Yeah.
just so much on him right now that, you know, being able to get rid of Reeves would be his only salvation as far as keeping fans, you know, coming back. Because I think we all are to the point where we know the problem. He must know the problem. He has to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I keep telling people that too, that are like, oh, Freeman will never get it. He thinks Tommy's fine. Like nothing's changing. Freeman might be saying exactly what ND Gal said, you know, in his own mind, but he can't do anything about it till after the season. And we got to build us a bridge from now till the end of the year without draining our recruiting classes. Like, you just have to find a way to navigate through this suck the rest of this year and then figure it out after that. Like, not a good spot to be in. It's the one we're in, though.
Well, if it was me, you know my position. I wouldn't wait for this year. I wouldn't wait for this year to finish out. Why? He's been there 5 years. He was a player for 4 years. You know, it's like he knows Notre Dame through and through, and we know him through and through. We know what his abilities are as a player and then now as a coach. So what would it hurt to make a change now? What would it hurt?
I just think, listen, I agree with you. It's just not even in my mind because I don't think that's how Notre Dame operates. I just don't. Like, you could say they should, and that's what's holding them back because they're not cutthroat about winning and about, you know, your Notre Dame pipeline or whatever. Fine. That's why I say it, because I just don't think that's something Notre Dame's going to do.
You're probably right with that. Like, they just aren't going to do that. But,
and I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I just don't think that they're going to. I just cannot see a world in the middle of the season where you say to your lifelong Notre Dame guy that's been a recruit since he was 17, get the hell out of here in the middle of the year, you suck. I just don't see it happening in a million years at Notre Dame. I don't.
Right.
Now, if it did,
right with that.
but if it did, you know what that does? That opens a lot of eyes. That opens a lot of eyes. And you know what else it does? It raises Freeman's stature right away because it shows he is the guy making the decisions. This is his show. And it also shows he ain't going to sit around and let his legacy get tarnished by guys that aren't good at their job. Those are the benefits.
Totally right.
Those are the benefits.
Exactly. You hit it right there.
Those are the benefits if you did do it. And it shows this is Notre Dame. And if you don't reach that standard, there are consequences and they may be embarrassing to you. Like, that's the plus side.
He knows what the standard is.
Right. Yeah. It's, I'm telling you, man, it's frustrating. So I see the benefit of doing it. It's just not a Notre Dame thing. That's what I keep coming down to. It is just not a Notre Dame-y type thing to do.
Yeah. Well, there's where we are.
Yeah.
I'll let you go, my friend.
It's not very comfortable. And where we're at this point in the season, we're thinking about things before games we should not have to be thinking about. It's unfortunate.
Well, you know, if you're 3-3, you got to do drastic things. And, you know, that starts with playing Merriweather most of the game. Forget Lindsey. Put Merriweather in there. Put in some new offensive linemen. Let's see what these other kids got. The same way Alt had to step in last year as a freshman and dominate. You know, like, let's see what other kids that are on the team can do, because you can get some diamonds in the rough, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is, with the 3 losses, you're not playing for anything this year. So you're going to put a lineup out there. It's going to try and win games. But every young guy that gets reps and gets his learning, growing pain mistakes out of the way now puts us in a better position in 2 years. I'm done seeing upperclassmen play that are a part of why we have 3 losses anyways. I'm over it.
Well, you know what else I almost hope why they wouldn't fire Reeves is because they'll have an excuse when they come up against Syracuse and Clemson and USC and get killed, because they're going to anyway. But if he wasn't fired before that, then it would look like, oh,
Yeah.
look what they did. They fired Reeves, and look what happened. But it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, man, this is just not a good dynamic to be working in. And I've been told by people that are behind the scenes, Tommy doesn't like to be pushed. Tommy doesn't. I've just been told by people that I know that are at Notre Dame in those circles. Tommy doesn't always react well if you go to him and say, "Hey, buddy, I want us to go a different direction." Tommy doesn't always respond to that openly. And I've been hinted towards that that's an ongoing thing. And it was when they were looking at maybe getting an older, experienced analyst to help in the booth with Tommy, and he didn't want that. I've been told he's just not always open to that kind of criticism or critique, or what if we did this or that. He wants to be left alone and do his own thing. That is fine when it works, but if it doesn't work, it ain't fine.
He's a little spoiled brat. Get him out of there.
That might be the case too. Why don't you go hold an NFL clipboard, be a quarterback coach, move your way up that window?
Right. Or go to some, community college. He'd probably be good at a community college.
Oh my God. How the mighty have fallen, I don't know, man. So what are you going to do? You got the Peacock. Are you going to watch this, try and enjoy it? 951-760, the next two up, by the way.
I'm not paying for this kind of product,
Radio. Crack a cold one and sit on the patio and listen to it on the radio old school.
Anyway. Yeah, I'm not paying for this kind of product. And I'm not a fan of pay-per-view anyway. I think we're going to be moving to a cafeteria style in the near future of, just paying for every show you want to watch,
Yeah, I think so too. It's like, it's almost full circle. We're going to end up right back at the main idea of cable anyways. Like, we did all this streaming and you could buy that and this, but now everybody wants so much, we're almost coming back full scale.
But I think the conferences are going to stay strong, so that's even more reason why once NBC drops us, we should join a conference, and because they'll still put on national television if you're in a conference. Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting. If that NBC deal does fall through, I think the Big Ten's the natural next move, and all that TV revenue. Geographically, it lines up. You still get your coast to coast.
Too many years in advance. They just signed an extension, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I think till 2027 at least, or something like that.
For NBC?
Yeah.
I thought it was 25 was that window. So that's
could be right.
Yeah,
but it was an extension. I don't know. You could be right.
But
there was an extension signed, so we have to endure more inadequacy in production of a game.
I'm telling you, man, why do we have inadequacies everywhere? Why can't we be adequate everywhere? Why do we have to find these areas where nothing's good enough? I can't even watch the game without being mad.
I know, it's insane. It's just such a pathetic product, and especially this year because of football. It's like these guys are losing to Marshall and
NBC.
Stanford.
Listen, Notre Dame's
I'm thinking Navy's probably going to beat us.
No. All you got to do is go 3 and out 2 or 3 times, and you're in trouble because there goes the quarter,
Yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, they got to make changes. They got to play kids that haven't played and put them in and see what they do, just like the way Alt was able to step in, and Fisher was able to step in before he got hurt. He was a dominant feature, and he's still very, very good.
Yeah.
But it's just not enough having 2 tackles that are good. You need the 3 in the middle or kill you.
Yeah, it's a good
3 because of that.
That is a good point. It is a good point. They've been living on the tackles.
No matter what anybody says, they're doing good. They have Lacey out. They have Cross out. They had Ademalola go out. So they're still doing pretty darn good, missing a lot of talent.
Yeah, and man, it's just, this is all so rough. There's so many things to consider: short term, big picture, small picture. I don't know, but the one thing I know is the biggest thing that could happen today, just win the damn game. Like, we can complain about all the same stuff, and we're going to next week. The problems aren't going to all go away. but just win this week to just kind of put a little water on some of the flames for a week. Just, can you do that?
Honestly, if it's a triple overtime win, I'll take it, you know?
Oh, man, that would give us so much to be mad at. All right, my friend.
At this point, any win is going to be good for the base because we need it.
It's so dark.
Anything you get.
That's so dark, though, man, to be here. It's just, I just have to hope that it's a short-term deal. And Marcus is taking note of all the things we yell about on this show. And he's going to address all of them right after the year. That's what we hope.
Well, it's also a perfect storm because of the strength of schedule that we're going up against teams, you know, that are very good.
Yeah.
So
yep.
That adds to it.
Now, you know what?
So
let me throw this at you. I'm going to flip this on you. You tell me if this makes sense or if I'm trying too hard to make it make sense. 951-760. You're up next. Hey, stay tuned. Tell me if this makes sense. I was looking at that number one strength of schedule, and like we have some good teams coming our way at the end of the year. Is it better that we may as well face the number one schedule when we're crappy anyways? Think about it. Is it actually in our benefit that it...
a tough thing to debate, you know, better? Is it better? I don't
but
think
like,
so.
follow me here. No. Follow me. Follow me, though.
Put it this way, John. I love when we have a tough schedule. I just love it because the more you play against the top teams, the more they don't phase you when you go into a stadium or you have them come to your place. When you're playing very tough teams, you get better. And
yeah, that's
Notre
fair.
Dame is showing that they're going to play down to it right now and to their level, and then they're going to lose to the good level. So,
yeah,
you know, I like, if we have to die one way or another, I'd rather die playing the better teams.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. I guess I'm looking at it as when Notre Dame's competitive again, let's say it's in a few years, would you want to face a gauntlet every week when you don't need that to make the playoff? Like, but you don't need it.
How do you measure that? But
right.
Yes, in general, yes, I would like to play. You know, when we used to play Michigan and Michigan State, like the first two games of the season, and then you have a Miami come in. And, you know, Clemson before we had some agreement with them. I mean, you know, it was fun. Every week was fun because the task was so big.
Man, do you remember, you'll know this from your time frame, that window of period where Notre Dame and Michigan played like the second game of the week most years, and it was just that measuring stick of which of these two teams is it this year? Like, I just remember it was a big deal. And I remember them always being in September, week 2 or 3, big deal. So I don't know, man. I reserve faith.
Yeah, I go back to Drew Brees and Gary Danielson. For Purdue. So Purdue was a good match too. Yeah,
they were. Yeah, Drew Brees played us tough in that series. I used to hate that. I used to hate that. So I reserve hope overall that this year's just going to be miserable. It's going to be a grind every week, and that's the way it is. I accept that reality. I hate it, but I accept it as a fact of reality. I hold out hope. Freeman has a checklist. He sees and feels a lot of what we do. And when this regular season ends, changes are going to be instituted that give us some light that doesn't currently exist. That is my bright side of how this ends. If he gets up there at the end of the year and goes, everything's fine, let's hope it's better next year, then I'm nervous for Freeman. Then I'm nervous.
Then he's out.
Then I'm nervous.
That's kind of like Mike Bray, the basketball coach.
Yeah.
That guy's living in rose-colored glasses like I've never seen.
But see, the difference is Notre Dame basketball isn't Notre Dame football. You know what I mean? Like, you get a lot more leeway coaching hoops than football at Notre Dame. So I don't know, man.
About that.
Try and have a good day. Relax. Listen to it on the radio old school. Maybe they could bring Tony Roberts' voice back for you to give you a little nostalgia.
All right, we'll do. And God bless all you Notre Dame fans. Hang in there. It's going to get better. It's very, very tough this year.
Yep. Well, thank you for the input. Thanks for giving me a call, even on the weekend, man. That's extra credit. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Have a good one. Oh, man. This is some heavy stuff. Andrew, $9.99, my brother again. Thanks. I mean, you're my brother. You don't have to give me money, but I'll take it. On a lighter note, just want to point out you get Duke Miami tickets for $4 today. The stadium will be empty. My brother lives in South Florida, so he's intimately aware of everything that goes on over there. That's a deal, too. $9.99. Thanks for the $10 holler, Andrew. Appreciate you. Did I miss another super chat? Then we're going to get back to the calls. 951-760-470. 10-minute sinus, 10-second sinus break. 951, you're up in 10. Oh, boy. Here we go. 951, let's have a little fun. Good morning.
John, man, I feel like it's been a dark show today.
I was not expecting it. I was kind of thinking like good weather, good weather, sunny day. Let's get on a brighter track. It's been a little dark, and I get it. People are in a bad place, man. They're in a bad place.
Totally. I mean, I'm kind of on the same bus that you're on, though. I truly believe that I don't think it's going to be like a mid-season fire Reese kind of thing. I think it's going to be an end of the season. You will see Marcus Freeman go up there on the podium, make some announcements. Tommy Reese will slide out, and the new offensive coordinator kind of slides in. I think I heard another caller talk about, what's the worst that can happen from firing him, but you really don't want to lose this, amazing recruiting class to some other schools that are going to start texting and calling that, are you sure you want to go there when you don't know what offensive coordinator you're going to be playing for,
Yeah. Listen, I don't have all the answers. I just know what the evidence says. And the evidence says that the offense has not been good enough. It's still not good enough. And there isn't a direct pipeline with the quarterbacks lined up that give you immediate light at the end of the tunnel with development either. Those are just facts.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just facts.
Agreed.
Like those are not opinions, or I personally hate Tommy, or I think he got the job because who his dad is. Like, no. All those things may be involved, but they're ancillary to the fact. And the fact is this offense has been holding the program back. Even when it's been good the last handful of years, the reason it wasn't elite is the offense. Have a good defense that can compete, can't score. It's a problem. I need Marcus to see it. I don't blame him for year one running with the Notre Dame guy, but I need to know that Marcus sees the big picture, and after the year, you're going to find out if he does or doesn't.
And you know what? I think he had to give Reese this year. I mean, it's complete. It's all of Reese's recruits. It's Reese's offense that he wanted on the field. He could have done something in the offseason, but this is his. So I think he had to to keep the continuity, changing up too much, offense or too much staff with the transition with Kelly out. You never know who's just going to start flying out of your stadium. So you might as well just keep one of them and kind of give this guy a shot. If he does well, then you keep him. But if not, I think this was kind of I think this was a mock, little job review that he kind of took.
And here's the other thing I've struggled with. I have heard, pushback saying, John, if you get rid of Reese, he's the one with the relationship, recruiting CJ Carr. And then what about all these guys that like Tommy? And then you get rid of him. What does that mess up? Listen, here's what I've decided on that. That is a fair question to ask, but here's my answer to it. The way this offense is, getting it right is more important than if you lose a handful of recruits in the short term. Like, you cannot sacrifice that for the big picture of this offense being terrible. So you keep a few recruits. I don't even care if one of them is a big-time quarterback. It is too important overall that Notre Dame not be terrible at offense forever in the modern era. So if you need to sacrifice some of those, a couple of recruiting hits, but you end up with an offense that's a big boy offense, I might have to just take that deal.
Oh, I'll take that any day. I mean, John, if we're talking about that, this is the offense that Reese recruited. There's maybe 2 or 3 on our offense right now that you can say, oh, well, I'm glad that Tommy Reese picked them up, but there's not a substantial amount of offensive players that we had that it's like it's going to lose Tommy Reese is going to hurt us badly. And if they were Tommy Reese's recruits, I'm not 100% sure if another person coming in could potentially do better. I mean, it's a possibility.
It's like, and the other thing I have to push back on, this always gets my blood pressure up. I hear it all the time. It's like, well, what does Tommy have to work with? Like in the quarterback, look it up, dude, that is his room. He wanted Buckner. Yeah. He wanted Pine. Pine was his guy. Pine was a Tommy guy. Tommy went and got and offered Pine. He said, you know who I want to run this offense? A guy that's 5'8", doesn't have a big arm, and he's small and slow. That's who I want. It is not Drew Pine's fault when I say Drew Pine shouldn't even be in the quarterback room at Notre Dame. You need to have better guys. Bigger stature, better physical traits, like a higher ceiling to begin with. That is not Drew Pine's fault. That is not Drew Pine's fault. And it's like, well, John, he was a 4-star, though. What are you talking about? Fine, but look at him. He's a guy that's not going to come in and be ready to play. Give me Drake May as your young guy, not a guy smaller than me. And if he is, he needs to be Michael Vick. If you're getting a guy smaller than me, he needs to be faster than shit. Not this. I'm over it.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing for Notre Dame. I mean, when they look at these quarterbacks and go to recruit them, I mean, I think that'd be the first thing they'd ask themselves, is this a talented enough player that's going to play with the Notre Dame jersey on? Is this who we're going to put all of our chips in for? I just don't see that. I just don't see that as their answer when they looked at Drew Pine. And like you said, not his fault. And this is a Tommy Reese thing. If Tommy Reese would have got this kid, developed him like a Doug Flutie, short, stocky back there, okay, I get it. But he didn't. Now this is the kid that we have out there, and this is a Tommy Reese issue. It's
just really frustrating, man. Like you need to get that quarterback room stabilized, and Band-Aids of transfers are a temporary solution. You got to hitch your wagon to the recruiting and development of an elite potential young quarterback to get to line up with the beginning of the Freeman era and build around. It is the one obvious biggest thing missing here that could make all of this project look way easier to get done.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, you take a look at, all of our recruiting class coming in, and it's just like this. I mean, we're building towards that finally. We're getting a good recruit. We're getting a good base in there. That's why I got to give Marcus Freeman, I'll give him a bye on this year. This wasn't everything that he wanted. Tommy Reese kind of had to stay just to keep some continuity.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I get it too.
Is that not fair? Is that not fair of us to say? I could totally understand the position Marcus was in and him saying, I like the idea of keeping Tommy here the first year for sure. Keep that pipeline of continuity. The Notre Dame guy, the kids like him. The players like him. I get that. And I'm fine with that as your first year to start. But I need you to be open to adapt if it doesn't work out. And that part, we'll wait and see what happens in about a month and a half or 2 months.
Oh, yeah, I agree. If Marcus Freeman gets up there and, going into the offseason and says, I think our offense and staff are perfect, we're not making any changes from here on out, then we have an issue.
Then I'm very concerned.
Staff, then I'll get concerned. And then a quick couple other things to touch on, because I tried to call that yesterday too, and then work called real fast. But I agree. The stadium, it's not how it used to be. Going up there, when I was I was gonna head up to today's game, and then I'm just thinking, do I really want to be there in the stands? And it's probably going to be an empty house. And I mean, I was there for the Stanford game, and it was just dead the entire time. So I mean, I just think that's a bunch of big wigs out there taking their other business people for luncheon, and it's not the old fans like it used to be. None of the blue collars out there anymore. So it's definitely changed.
Yep, that's the way it is, and that's how they want it. They want it, and that's how they price it. And it's messed up that the bigger the game is, that the blue collar Gary and Chicago South suburbs where I'm from, all those Subway alum Notre Dame people, they all get priced out. The people you want in there the most that are going to yell all day get priced right out. The bigger the game it is, like I'm sorry, but you need that plumber from Frankfort, Illinois, who loves Notre Dame more than anything, in there yelling more than you do the multi-million-dollar law firm owner. I'm sorry. It's a different way to fan, man. It's a different way to fan, and you price all those regular people out, this is what you get.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, you need that guy who's going to sit through 4 quarters, even when it's, 0 degrees, a -10 wind chill, and it's starting to snow on you. You need that guy out there who's still wearing the shirt because he bleeds, the blue colors. So
you know what I know? Right, you know what happens a lot now? A lot of these bigger games at home, they're flexed tonight. Obviously Clemson, a lot of the people I know that own the banks, like the big Notre Dame people I know that own the banks and own like big time people, they don't even go to the night games. They have all the season tickets in the front rows with the cushy seat backs. They don't even want to go because they're like, I get home way too late. I'm not doing that. So they don't even end up going to the biggest games because it's too late of a night.
Yep.
That's the way it is, man. Big money. That's big cigar smoker money is what that is.
Yep. And then, like you said, it's a museum. That's what you go for. You go for the Notre Dame experience. You don't go for the game.
Nope. You go there to meet with your buddies. You walk around the quad. You take a couple pictures. You sit in the stadium for just to get a look at it. And whatever happens in the game just happens. And then you leave early to beat traffic and get out of there, and it doesn't matter.
Yep. You get your Facebook photo, you post that one, and then you're heading back on the highway again.
Yep. I always tell people, Bush push. I was there with a bunch of people, Notre Dame people, and they all left mid-4th quarter to beat the traffic. Like they all went to Notre Dame, claimed they love Notre Dame, and I'll never forget it. Halfway through the 4th quarter of Bush push, and they're like, it was good seeing you guys. We're going to get, great day here. We're going to hit the road, beat the crowd. Like, just football, it just happened to be there. It wasn't the main thing.
Yep.
So
it's something that they're gonna do on Saturday, not something that they have to do.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, when you start pricing out those diehard blue bloods that are all about Notre Dame football, you need a certain percentage of them in that building, and they keep lessening it. I'm telling you, they do.
And then a quick last thing, too, then I know you're talking about defense, too, on Friday. I mean, the linebacker crew, I think looking at their tape and watching them, I think the biggest issue that you have is, I don't know who's trying to teach them this, but, I think they have this mentality that if they blitz, they do that cross blitz and they run at the line. I think they think that that's physicality, that is not coming off one of those, lines, but just to blow up the line. And it's just like, no, we need you to break through that. I mean, physics, if you're a $190 and you're going to try to hit a 300-pound lineman, you're not going to make it past him. Blow off that guy and get to the quarterback. But for some reason, when you watch the first 3 games, that's what they do. They just run straight for the wall, hoping that it blows up the pocket, and then it does something to them. But that's not what we want you to do. Get to the guy with the ball.
Yeah, those guys, man, that linebacking group, I thought they were going to be a real plus going into the year, and it just hasn't worked out. They don't shed blocks, the angles. Like, they never get home. Like, I'm like, dude, what are we doing here, man? Like, none of the best features you want out of linebackers we get. None of them.
Yep.
It's frustrating. So what happens today, man? Is this frustrating, or they're without their quarterback? It's UNLV. We win, but we're all still annoyed. Like, what happens?
Oh, I do think that we come up with a 2-touchdown favorite or 2-touchdown win over them. I think it's going to be fine. I mean, if you line up our guys and their lines on the goal line and you have them run, I mean, physically, our guys are better, and I think that's just going to happen that way. You could probably say the same thing against Marshall, and you can probably say the same thing against Stanford.
That's the next thing. You've been around here long enough. You knew what I was going to say next.
Yes, yeah.
But it's you can't be wrong every time, right? Like one of these times, we're actually going to take advantage of the advantage we have, right? Right?
Yeah, I think this is going to be the one that'll turn things around. I'm not saying for the entire program, but I'm just saying for the week at least.
Oh, God, I hope so. I'm telling you. Oh, man. Well, enjoy it. Try and enjoy it. It's a nice day out. Have a good one. And then give me a call Monday. Let me know what you think of the results.
Yep. Have a good one, John.
Thanks for calling, man. Have a good day.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. Go Irish. Oh, man. Dr. John got in late on the gal's call. We'll check it out when the video posts. By the sound of it, the doctor will need the whole show on Wednesday. She ain't in a good place, man. And who am I to tell anybody? She has standards. She has standards of what's acceptable for Notre Dame football. Who the hell am I or anybody else to tell her that's wrong? Good for her. If everybody had those standards, we might not be in the position we're in, where I have to yell in my basement at 9 a.m. about Tommy freaking Reese, the teacher's pet. $760. You're my new hero. Welcome on the air.
On that note, John, you ready for a win today?
We need it. We got to get one. It's the best thing you could do today, man. We have all these big scale problems, but the best thing you could do today, the only thing you could do today, win the damn game.
I think we will. I think looking on the face of Freeman after the game, I want to say, I hope, that all the coordinators had that come to Jesus talk, and he pretty much told them everyone's rear end is on the line at this point. He just had that faith, and I hope and pray that that's the talk he had with them, because they need it.
You are hitting on something I highlighted and wrote in my notes last week. 470, you're going to be next up, by the way. Hang in there. You're hitting on it. And I got home from South Bend, and I wanted to rewatch the game on TV. You see things differently in person versus TV. And what I noticed is Freeman and Mayer were the two guys after the game that looked genuinely, totally distraught and shattered, like they knew something happened here that could never happen. Those are the two guys to me that looked genuinely, totally distraught. And I saw it in Marcus's face. He is frustrated. I could see his wheels spinning. What's he going to do about it, though?
Right. And for the talk of, I know there's not a lot of fans of Swarbrick, but the guy's not an idiot. He's not dumb by any means, and he sees what's going on. And, I'm sure there was part of him that, recommended Reese to Freeman, said, hey, you guys know each other, let's do this type of thing, kumbaya. And he's getting up there where he's not going to be at Notre Dame much longer, and he's not going to want to go out a loser. So I think if Freeman goes up to him and says, hey, this isn't working, you see what's going on, I'm sure Swarbrick's not going to be like, oh, no, let's keep him one more year.
But man, listen, you can't, if we're in a position where you hire a head coach at Notre Dame and he does not have the power to hire his coordinators, what are we doing here? Something is wrong. Like, Jack Swarbrick shouldn't know more about what Notre Dame's offense needs than Marcus. Like, you can't hire that guy and then neuter him, right? What are we doing here? You can't. You're neutering him.
Well, and see, here's the problem. And if the year continues the way it is with Reese, he has to go, because we've talked before about the whole quarterback room. These are all Reese's guys. And if we let Reese go one more year and it's the same thing and we fire him, now, who knows if we're even going to get a quarterback commit this cycle? Yeah. Who knows what we're going to get in the transfer portal? But if we go another year with this, and now say we fire Reese, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what happens if we lose Carr because we get rid of Reese next year instead of this year, where if he leaves, he leaves. I don't think he will, but at the same token, if he does, we can get someone still.
Yeah, it's so tough. But here's where I'm very uncomfortable, to be honest with you. A lot of the discussion today, even I have fallen into this habit of speaking as if it's a guaranteed thing. Freeman's going to get up there at the end of the year and agree that they're going to part ways. I am not sure that's going to happen. I am just banking that Freeman sees what we do, and he's buying his time, taking the high road, defending his guys in public, getting through the year, and then going to do a big reevaluation, a recalibration. Like, that is what I'm banking on. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to be depressed.
We're all in trouble at that point.
Right? Like, I mean, I'm not, it is not a Notre Dame thing to do in the middle of the year to fire your coordinator, especially when he's a Notre Dame prodigal son type. I don't think that's in the cards. I'm not even asking for it because it's not how Notre Dame usually operates. However, at the end of the year, what do you think the first question is going to be the minute the season ends? Is Tommy Rees coming back or not? That is the number one question everybody wants to know, right?
Absolutely.
Go to the NFL, man. It'll be better for everybody. You get a clean slate. You get to move up at the highest league there is in this sport. Like, you get to do all that, and then it frees Freeman up to get some fresh eyes on that offense. And the other thing, if I'm Freeman and my name's attached to all this, my coaching future reputation is built on all this. I am not going down because the other guy liked Tommy Rees. Hell no. I am not risking my coaching reputation because Kelly liked Rees. No, I'm not letting that bring me down. No.
And that's the look he had after the game. That's his exact look. I mean,
right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I saw that too. I could see the frustration inside him, like, it shouldn't be this bad, but I can't fix it this minute. That is what I saw when I saw Marcus's face. That was the vibe. I know this isn't good enough. I know what I would do, but I feel trapped right now. That's what I felt I saw from him, and I'm hoping I'm right.
Yeah. And even like with Golden, he makes his mistakes. I know people jump on him, but at least we could say, well, it's his first year. He made that mistake. And even him, he's like, I shouldn't have made that call. That was a bonehead call of mine. And he's going from the NFL to here where he's expecting our guys to go and make that play and go through a blitz and make that play where and he's like, oh, crap, my mistake, yeah, it's a mistake. But Rees, 3 years in, it's like, come on, dude. Like, Tyree's having a bad day. You have a three-headed monster. Quit forcing it on him. You have Diggs and Estime that are doing great, but yet you want to force feed Tyree. And it's like, what are you doing, man? Come on. There's no reason for that. I feel horrible for Estime last game.
Me too. Why? Yeah.
Because, and to me, that was because of Rees, because we were down, and I blamed the whole offense on Rees, where Estime was trying to win that game.
But why? But wait, way before that drive and the unfortunate helmet to the ball fumble, why was Estime not involved or getting a carry until like 4 minutes into the second quarter? Why was that? Why don't you let him bully ball some people early?
Well, and that's what I mean. Even 2 weeks ago when Tyree was getting tackled by the little turf gremlins, I mean, and that's nothing against Tyree, but it's like, okay, he's having an off day. Put Estime in, put Diggs in. What are we doing? Like, you have two guys that have proven, and you know what they're going to do. Like you said, put Estime in and destroy that line. Then you can put Diggs and he'll run all day.
Listen,
like,
man, I really, really like the diverse skill sets all three of those backs have. But what I disagree with is the usage. Sometimes it feels like the plays they run and who's getting it isn't the best fit for who's getting it and what they're doing. That's my problem. Sometimes the fit isn't right. And then again, that's me complaining about one area of the team I actually like. Like, that's a complaint when we want to avoid the wide receiver talk, Yeah,
it's bad. I mean, and the whole thing with Merriweather, everyone knew it and everyone saw it. And to me, in my head, and I try not to say this, but it's like, I'm sure Reese is like, oh, great. He saw that touchdown. And it's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
It's like,
no, yeah, I get it. Like,
dude,
oh, yeah. It's almost like I'm glad that happened, but also crap. That proves everybody who was yelling at me was right. One of those.
Right.
Yeah.
This goes back to, the Kelly era where it's like Reese is, buddied up to him and that's his guy. But it's like, play the freshmen. I mean, you look at the defense; they're playing all these freshmen, and I know there's certain freshmen on offense that play, but they're not better than Merriweather.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. That is the thinnest group on the team with the worst depth by far. Well, you could argue quarterback, but you get my point. And
right.
And you're struggling. You're low on numbers. You have guys injured. You have guys that aren't playing the best or getting open, or the quarterback's not seeing them. Like, all of it, you need a spark. All of what we just said comes down to Notre Dame needs a spark from that position. You got a 6'5" body that gave you a spark. Let him turn it into a fire.
Exactly.
They make it harder than it has to be, man. They overthink offense. They make it harder than it has to be to get things done. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, we got the guys. Besides quarterback, we got the guys.
Yeah,
and that's just the bottom line. I mean, it's either make it happen or you got to go. Deion Colsey. I mean, I would say half of the fan base forgot about.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Who is that?
Yeah,
never heard of him.
Salerno's better than Colsey.
Yep, walk on Central, baby. Fair catch, USA.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
I think it'll be a good day. It'll be a good day, and I mean, hopefully everyone wins: coordinators, coach, players, in Notre Dame Stadium.
Here's my question to you, though. I'm not letting you get off without asking you this tough question. I'm going to get you on the record. Do you think Marcus Freeman sees things the way we do, but he's buying his time the rest of the year before he can make the changes he wants? Or do you think he really thinks this is all just going fine?
I think he sees it. And here's why I say this. He's a new coach and he's young. He's not a veteran coach where they give up on, I'm not going on Twitter, I'm not going on Facebook, I'm not going on Instagram. I think deep down he checks this and he's like, he knows it, he sees it, and then he listens to what people says because he's a good guy. I think he's a genuine good guy and he wants to please everyone. So I think he does look at these things and he's like, oh crap,
Yeah.
These people are seeing what I'm seeing. And like I said, that face, that's a face of, if I could get away with it, I'd go up in the box and we'd be boxing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
you're going to cost me my job and I'm not okay with this.
I am really glad somebody else brought this up, because when I watched it, it really stood out to me how upset he was and how that's what I saw too. I just hope when we get into the offseason that the actions match what I think I saw. So try and enjoy the day, though. It's going to be a warm day in South Bend. Drink a couple cold ones and enjoy it. Life is good. We're watching football. We all like this. Remember, allegedly, we all love this.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's gonna be a good day, and hopefully we can flip the new jumbotron board or song board, because it's bad. I mean, I was watching last week in the third downs, and to me, it's like they play the same song every
do,
third down,
and it's bad.
To the crowd.
It's bad.
I was just standing there like, oh.
It's bad. And if you're gonna play this, if you're gonna play the same lame song on third down every time, go back to Turn Down for What over this techno bull crap. Give me Turn Down. Right. I will take Turn Down for What, a song that was popular 7 years ago, over whatever this techno polka crap is. This is Notre Dame, and I'm listening to techno polka on third down. I'm getting sick of everything over there.
I agree, John. Hey, I appreciate the call.
Well, you called me. I appreciate your call. I appreciate your call. You called me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So thank you. No, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one.
Talk to you soon. Go Irish.
Yeah. See ya.
Right.
I'm telling you what. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on today, but I feel like I might be wound a little tight. Somebody tell me I'm not crazy, but that techno polka crap, who in the world sits there at Notre Dame and you have every song ever invented in the world at your disposal, and you sit there and go, you know what one I think our people would want to hear? Techno polka. That's what our fans would want to hear. Idiots. All the money and all the brains over at Notre Dame, these people are morons. They really are. Let me get up in the booth. I'll have that place lit. You have no ideas the ideas I have. Or no idea the ideas I have. I've thought of all this out. I have different songs I'd play for this and that and building things up and leading one thing into another. I got all this stuff planned out. I'm just getting sick of it. Oh, it's a big third down. Techno, cue the techno polka to get the fans engaged. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Whoever decided that, I'm going to punch him in the face. Horrible idiot. All of this, I'm mad about Tommy Reese, and I almost had a stroke about techno polka. Do you guys know the song I'm talking about? Hate it. Hate it. Horrible. 470, you're my hero. Talk me off the ledge. It's getting hot in here today. Good morning.
How's it going, John?
It's going okay. Everybody's struggling, man. Everybody's wound tight. Everybody's got a laundry list of complaints. Where do you fall on all this? Thanks for the call this morning.
Well, first off, I love the show. This is Savage Dog from the comment section.
Oh, thank you very much. Good to
And,
put the name with that. Thanks for being here.
I want to try to back the Notre Dame fans off the edge a little bit. If you look at UGA, we went through the same thing you're going through right now. First year, Kirby Smart, 8-5. We thought the sky was falling. I mean, you got the right coach. He's a great recruiter. Give the man some time. Notre Dame will be back where it should be.
All right. Now, let me ask this, though. Does it not matter at all how much easier it is to recruit elitely at a place like Georgia than Notre Dame because of the local talent, because of its geographical, no offense to the academics, but it's probably a lot easier to get into Georgia than Notre Dame as a football player. Does that enter your calculus at all, or is that just kind of a different thing to think about?
Well, a little bit, but I mean, it's Notre Dame. You shouldn't have to sell Notre Dame. It's one of the best, schools ever in college football. They should be able to walk into any home and get anybody they want if they have the grades to get in.
Yeah. And so listen, man, I also am open to this. I am very open to the idea that inside the Notre Dame fan base and somebody like me doing this show, I'm a lot more sensitive to all this than an outsider who just watches a lot of college football and might call me and say, John, it's this guy's first year. He's got to calibrate it out and realize what's what first. First year, no big deal, relax. Somebody could say that to me, and maybe it just all feels worse to me because it's my world I'm living in. It isn't good enough right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we felt the same way in Georgia. 8-5. We went from Mark Richt, who was just like, Kelly, 10 consistent wins a year, couldn't win the big game. Went for the young coach, energetic. It took him a year to get it in there, but, after that first year, we're rolling. And I think Notre Dame is going to do the same thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And that's a very fair-minded perspective. Let me ask you this, since you're kind of outside the Notre Dame circle. Do you think Notre Dame would be best suited joining a conference moving forward, maybe when their NBC TV deal comes up? And if so, which one makes the most sense as kind of a outside non-Notre Dame guy?
Well, I thought it would have made sense for them to join a conference if it was a 4-team playoff. But now that it's going to a 12-team, I think it's probably better for the school if they stay independent.
You know what? I've explored that as well, because if you're an independent and it goes to 12, it kind of takes the pressure off Notre Dame to feel like they have to be 12-0 to have a chance then, because you would gain extra cushion. Maybe you could lose one game there and still make. Is that how you see it, that access angle? Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, are you okay with an expanded playoff? Do you expect the results to change because of it, or the best teams are going to win, but more fans get to experience it, more money? Like, what do you think about all that?
I like the expanded playoff. I just don't think people watch the bowl games like they used to. They've lost their luster. Players are sitting out. Now you got more games that count. Players won't be sitting out for the playoff game, so you'll have a lot better games in the postseason.
Yeah, and you are right, though, because once the playoff hit, none of those other games have any steam after that. Even if it's like the Rose Bowl, if it doesn't have the playoff steam, who cares now? You're right. It did kill that.
Exactly.
So you're a Georgia guy. Let me ask, what do you feel about Georgia the rest of the year?
I think we're good. I think, we've had a couple of games where we came out flat, but we've done that pretty much every year. We usually get it straight after the bye week. So I think everything's in front of us. We got a good shot. We get past Tennessee, and I think we're on the road to the playoffs.
Yeah, and you know what else you say about coming out flat or having like a rough window of a couple games or something like that? Where you want to be as a program is where you have enough talent built up that you can have your off games and still win. Like, that's how you know when you're getting to that level, when you know damn well we're not playing good today, we don't have it, this is sloppy. But it doesn't ruin your life. You find a way to get through it and win, and then you light the guys up next week in practice, get it right. Like, that's how you know you're on the right track, when you're not playing your best, but it's in wins. And so that's a really good place for your program to be. And that's what they deserve after recruiting so well the last a handful of years. What do you make of Tennessee, man? Like, they are exciting to watch, and I am just not used to saying that and meaning it. What do you make of what they're doing right now down there?
I think Eichel's doing a good job of that offense. They're really explosive.
Man, that's fun to watch. It's so fun to watch.
Their Achilles heel is going to be the defense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll get you, 10, 11 wins. But once you get to the playoffs, if you don't have a defense, just like Oklahoma, you're not going to get all the way.
Hey,
so
listen.
I look at both sides of the ball, and I think Ohio State, Michigan, and Georgia both are top 10 in offense and defense. And I think one of those three is going to win the national title.
Yeah, that's a fair way to look at it. What do you make of Texas and Oklahoma shifting to the SEC? You're an SEC guy. I imagine you love and respect the great history of the SEC. What do you make of those moves, and how much do you think it's going to change kind of how things look in that conference?
I think it's going to change a little bit. I think we're going to have to do the thing where you play, 3 or 4 teams that are in your conference, and then you have to play the other side. But I'm glad they're joining. I couldn't think of 2 other teams that we should take. Brand name teams. Everybody knows.
Yep.
The Longhorns and the Sooners. I think they'll fit in great.
Yeah, it is wild to think of those 2 brand names moving over. I mean, you're right. I mean, those are 2 of the biggest names there are. So let me ask you this. I like this. Since you're not in the Notre Dame circle, it's very helpful. What would be your advice to new coach Marcus Freeman the rest of the year? As an outsider, I think that's a great question for you. What would you advise him to do?
I think you should open up competition in all positions. You need to earn your playing time. Make sure you have your best players on the field. This offseason, you need to get rid of your offensive coordinator because he's garbage and figure out that. But I think you need to make sure you have your best talented players on the field, and I don't think Notre Dame's doing that right now.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It seems like a pretty basic thing to ask of your squad. So I don't know, man. This is going to be a rough year. Us Notre Dame fans, we're hanging on, 1 week at a time, just trying to get by now, stay above water. It isn't a pretty place to be. But enjoy your Georgia boys, man. They're playing good football. They're in a good spot.
All right. Appreciate you taking my call. Thanks, John.
No problem. Thanks for calling, and feel free to call anytime, man. Anybody that's outside the fan base, I value your perspective. Call me anytime, all right? He didn't say all right, but I'm assuming he said all right. $20 holler from Manuel Baca. I have faith in our beloved Irish will beat UNLV today. But then again, I had faith in against the herd in the trees. You guys, that's exactly it. I was doing my prediction for USA Today Fighting Irish Wire. I have nothing to go off of. You're just picking a random score. Like, I'm sitting there for this actual newspaper supposed to write up what I think's going to happen. You're just guessing. There's nothing to go by. There's nothing. You're just guessing. You're starting over, just totally guessing a score today because you can't trust the team. You can't trust Notre Dame. You have no idea what you're going to get today. Good, bad, in the middle. I was sitting there looking at my computer, John, pick a score and do a write-up on it. No idea, dude. No idea. You have no idea what's going to show up. It's enough to drive a regular person insane because you just don't know. There's no baseline level of play you know you're going to get. It's driving me nuts. Jonah, if the Irish lose today, Tommy has to be fired within 24 hours. I'm saying I didn't see a way that they would do anything in the season. If they do that today against this team, Marcus is going to have to make some tough decisions and say to Swarbrick, if it's true, all the conspiracies, you can't do anything because of Jack protecting Tommy, then this is all a mess if you're in that spot. So, I don't know. Yeah, Andrew Gilmore, let's get 3+ turnovers a day. You need to give that offense every opportunity to move the ball you can, my friend. That's for sure. Mark, 32-10 Irish win. Hey, beggars can't be choosers, can you? Beggars can't be choosers. So we went 2 hours today, 9 to 11. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I know Saturdays are weird for people schedule-wise. Everybody who donated, I appreciate it. The Irish therapy's much needed. ND gal, I want you to be in a better place. Her call's I'm serious. Her call is going to sit with me all day. Like, how much I could tell she really meant it and it really bothers her and what's going on. It's going to rattle around in my mind. So thanks, everybody, for being here. Enjoy some football today, all right? Like, as frustrating as it is, that's why we're all here, because we like football. Try and find a way to enjoy it. I'll talk to you guys. Post-game show, I'll post tomorrow, and then, we'll do the call-in show after Monday. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy your day.